if you have any, there we go. Now everyone knows. If you have any questions, we'd love to answer them. Just type them in the chat and we'll get to them at the end with whatever time we have left. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Mackenzie, who's going to start with the introductions.
Hi, everybody. I am Mackenzie Watts. I know maybe about half of you. I am a life purpose and mindset coach. I'm in San Diego. I actually just completed my advanced certification, so I guess I'm technically an advanced certified coach. First time saying that officially. So yeah, I do a lot. I work with people on a lot of different things. Mainly it's helping them navigate everything that gets in the way of them becoming their best self. So limiting beliefs are one of the main things, perfectionism, all the things that are getting in the way of people moving towards their goals, really. So yeah, and we'll get into a little bit more on how Emily and I work together too.
Yeah, and I am Emily Zorn. That's new for me. I just got married, so I'm getting used to that last name. And I am a dietitian and health coach. So I started off my career working with athletes at the collegiate and professional level. And then just over the past couple of years, I transitioned into building my own business and taking a more coaching approach. So I'm all about, not doing diets, about getting healthy for life, which you'll see throughout this webinar. That's what we talk about a lot. So yeah, so I work with people virtually, and it has been really fun transitioning from that in-person work to that working virtually, which I know a lot of us have been going through this past year and a half. Great. So I wanted to start with a little audience participation. Don't worry, you don't have to talk yet. This is just going to be a raising your hand if we can see you, or your virtual hand if we can't see you. So raise your hand if you have an all or nothing mindset when it comes to health, nutrition, working out, and have a kind of perfectionism going on. Can anyone relate to that? Yep, I see some hands raised. Yeah, definitely. So another question, raise your hand if you ever struggle with emotional or stress eating. Raise my hand. I know I definitely do. I know this has been a big thing over, yeah, this is a popular one. It's been a big thing over the past year and a half. It's been a stressful time. All right, and one last one. Raise your hand if you want to get healthy for life, but you're not quite sure where to begin. Anyone raise their hand? Yeah, some more raising their hands. Absolutely. So I just wanted to do that to show everyone that you're all in the right place and you're not alone, right? We're all in a very similar boat here. And this webinar tonight is a taste of a group coaching program that Mackenzie and I created together called Balanced Mind, Balanced Body, because we kept running into people with these exact struggles that we just mentioned. And there are too many diets out there. There's too much bad health information. And we felt that focusing on the physical as well as mental and emotional sides of health is underrepresented, and we wanted to do something about it. So through our group program, we have so many powerful things to share, but we wanted to share some of that with all of you this evening. So thank you for being here so we can share that with you. You'll be hearing from a participant of a past group later in this webinar, but for now, we just want to get into what we're going to talk about today. So Mackenzie, do you want to take it away?
Yes, of course. So just like Emily shared, the mindset and the health don't usually, people don't talk about both of them together. And I guess from my perspective, I was working with a lot of people who were trying to focus on their health, but things kept getting in the way on the nutrition side. I am very well versed in all the things that are getting in the way for people in a mindset way. But Emily and I were like, we would have conversations and, what is all of this that's underneath of here? And we actually did informational interviews with like over 20 people got all of this data, all the things that are really at the root. And then that's what we created this program from. So my clients were particularly struggling with things like perfectionism, all or nothing, self-doubt, fear in getting too healthy, and fear of not being able to get to healthy ever. Guilt. So if they would fall off, then they felt really guilty. If they were really on track, they felt guilty for like what that meant about their families, things like that. Either way, they were feeling guilty. And then, of course, like I mentioned before, limiting beliefs. So the other thing that was the problem in my coaching, I do not share with people what to do. I am not their guru. They are their own guru. So I'm leading them to find their own answers. But what we were running into was people really did want, with everything in the diet industry, there's a lot of information. And so they really were overwhelmed and didn't know where to start. So that's why I brought Emily in, because she just cuts through all the BS. She was like, nope, this is the thing. So we make a really good team, and it's, about moving towards your goals and not getting stuck with the direction, letting go of the diet narratives. And that's kind of where we're going to start today. So I would love for you, if you have a notebook and a pen, we're just going to kind of dig into how these different narratives, these diet narratives, and that means a whole heck of a lot of stuff, have impacted us. It's very hard to even avoid that message because it just shows up everywhere. So the first question I want you to kind of just write down about is, how have diets served you? I'll give you about a minute to write about that question, and then we'll open it up for some shares too. I'm actually going to go ahead and give you guys the next question. There's going to be 3, and then we'll open it up for conversation. So opposite of that, how have diets hurt you? I'm going to throw in the last question, then I'm going to put these in the chat, just for you to spend a little bit more time digging into them. But the last question is, what would it be like if you never had to diet again? I'll post these in the chat, and then I'll give you about 1 more minute to wrap it up. That second one is one to really dig into if you're trying to pick which one to. And thank you, Ellen, for typing in the chat too. All right. Just because Emily and I have a lot to share, we'll go ahead and open this up. So one of the most powerful things for Emily and I in our group is the sharing and knowing we're not alone, and being able to open up about a lot of these things so we can release a lot of the emotions and the guilt that come along with these things, to be able to move forward. So starting with the first question, would anyone feel comfortable sharing how diets may have served you in the past? Yeah, go ahead.
I can go. It was interesting. The one thing I came up with was I was a vegetarian for a really long time, and it was almost a conversation starter for people because I was a vegetarian for environmental reasons. And so it was a really nice structure, actually, like being on the diet of like not ever eating meat or ever, being able to draw that hard line made it simpler. Well, like going out to eat, it made it a lot easier to pick what I was eating, and grocery shopping as well was, it kind of forced me to learn to cook more as well, just like because you had to eat what you could.
Yeah, thank you. That's some good insight. Thank you for sharing. What else?
I'll go ahead. So at first I kind of laughed at this question, because I was like, when has it ever been good for me? But I guess it's opened the conversation to getting healthier. So if I had to put a positive spin on it, it would be that it's opened it up so that we're talking about it more, I guess. And whether that's positive or negative depends on the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Jordan. I've never thought about that either. Awesome. Maybe one more person. Any brave souls? Okay, Emily and I are great with silence, so I can sit here and stare at you guys all day, just so you know. Okay, that's great. And that question, yeah, Jordan, like you said, that's not a question that gets asked to look at the positive sides of that very often. But I ask that because it brings awareness to why we keep turning back to it. Like, what is that good thing we're getting out of it that maybe we can get out in other ways so that we start breaking the cycle? So, okay, now tell me all the things that the diet industry has done to you. There's many, I know, just throw them at me. You can type them in the chat. And who would like to share first?
Me hungrier. Like, to be honest, like when you start dieting, you don't know if you're eating too much or eating too little, because they tell you, oh, smaller portions, this and that. And I'm just like, I don't know at this point. Like, I'm just gonna diet. And then I keep thinking, I really want a cookie. I really want something sweet. And then I usually give in. Today I didn't, though, which I'm really happy I didn't. I was like fighting myself. I'm like, I'm about to do a webinar. Let me not eat something sweet because I don't want to be a hypocrite. But yeah, so definitely the hunger. That's what hurt me. I'm like, I just don't know. I don't know that balance. I've always wanted that, but I just don't know how to get there. But yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Amanda. I see a lot of head nods. Yes. Telling us that we can't trust our bodies, that we don't know when we're hungry, right? What else?
That was definitely something I had put. And then just you're so restricted that if you take the smallest step off plan, you have that sense of guilt, that you're a failure, that all the things. There's like a false sense of hope when you go on a new diet because you're seeing in how they advertise and these spokespeople that are doing so well, and you're like, okay, I'm not, how come mine isn't like that? Like, why is my journey, like, why am I not having the results? I feel like I'm starving myself. I'm starving, literally. I'm hungry all day long, kind of thing. It's not sustainable. It's really not. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All good stuff. Well, not good stuff, but very truthful stuff. Thanks, Jen. All right, we'll go to the last question then. So what came up for you on what it would be like to never diet again? I know Ellen typed freedom. What other words come to mind?
I had beautiful.
I kind of took it as I wouldn't have to diet anymore and could eat whatever I wanted, and that I would eat a lot more ice cream than I do now.
You are very allowed to eat ice cream. Awesome. Give me one more.
Living.
Yeah. Just to not obsess and have those thoughts all the time and the all-consuming. Yeah. A lot of people haven't even thought of what that would be like because we just keep turning to it over and over again. So thank you for humoring me with your responses. Those are questions that you can dig into later just to bring awareness to how these different things are showing up for you. So I'll hand it over to Miss Emily.
All right, I'm just gonna move pins around. There we go. All right, so now we're gonna do something fun. So I love the use of these reactions at the bottom. There are a ton of different ones you can choose from, but for this, we're gonna play a little bit of a game, and it is myth or truth. And I love doing this, so I'm really excited. We're just gonna do a few today, but so I'm gonna say something. If you think it is the truth, I want you to do the thumbs up. So if you go to the bottom there, it says reactions, you click on that, and there's the thumbs up, and that's the truth. And then if you think what I say is a myth, then do like the laughing, crying face. For me, it's next to the heart. So it's all practice. So if I say something and it is the truth, or you think it's the truth, what are you gonna do? Yep, thumbs up all around, beautiful. And then what about if I say something you think it's a myth? Yep, the crying. We all got it, perfect. Okay, so this will be fun. All right, so the first thing is, the statement is 12,000 calories, or 1,200 calories is the best amount for weight loss. Truth or crying, laughing myth? Oh, Ellen found the thumbs down, which might make more sense. It's just not as easily accessible as the crying, laughing. I saw all myths there, and you are exactly right. Every single person is completely different. This 1,200 calorie number is something that has just been out there in the diet world for way too long. And I don't know where it came from, because every single person has a different need. And also 1,200 calories is extremely low. I mean, that's, I think, what they suggest for a toddler to eat in order to maintain weight. That's really low. So that was the first one. So thank you all for participating. Let's go to the next one. Getting healthy needs to start with big, drastic changes. Truth or myth? Love it. All myths. Yes. And this is one that I think we all say it's a myth, but I don't know if we always believe it's a myth. It can be very scary to say that, okay, well, now's the time, I'm going to do it, because we're used to saying when we decide to get healthy, okay, I'm going to do this diet where I cut out sugar and gluten and dairy and everything, and I can't eat anything, and it's such a struggle. It doesn't have to be a struggle. And that's what I really love sharing with people, is it really can be one small step that you focus on for a week. And then the next week you add in another small step. And if you do that every week for a year, you're going to be in a really good place. And it's going to be sustainable and turn into a lifestyle where these diets, I think 99% of the time people fail on them, and that's because they're not sustainable. So how can we make it sustainable? It's not by making big drastic changes. It's figuring out, what can I do that feels doable, that's small, that I can stick with. So very good. You're all on a roll. All right, so here's the last one. Truth or myth? You can get healthy if you put your mind to it. Truth or myth? Love it. I see hearts. I see heart eyes. I see thumbs up, a party thing. Yes, that was kind of, I mean, that wasn't really a truth or myth, but I love it. It's so true. And you can all do it. That's the thing is, as long as you believe you can, put your mind to it, you've got this. Doesn't have to be my life ends today because now I'm going to, go on a diet and I can't do anything. If you put your mind to it, you can do anything. It's all about just the small changes over time. So you all got those all correct. No one got any of those wrong. So what I love to just share with people is that you all know these things. You just have to trust yourself and ignore that noise, what you're hearing on the internet from influencers, diet companies, what other people are saying worked for them. Just all of it makes us feel inferior, like we need to be doing something huge and drastic to change ourselves and change who we are. No, you guys you just showed me the myth and truth. You know that this stuff, what's true and what's not. And so instead, it's just focusing on those simple choices. That's what Mackenzie and I preach and how we help people succeed. It's just through cutting through the noise, figuring out what really matters and focusing on that in a way that fits your lifestyle. So we always love leaving people with things to actually do. So when I say, a few small changes, what could some of these changes even be? So I wanted to share a few with you, if any of these resonate with you. One could be just drinking one more glass of water per day than you do now. Another is eating one more serving of vegetables today than you did before. A third one is moving your body in whatever way works for you for just 10 more minutes than you usually do. So those are three really simple things. And I'm not saying, okay, tomorrow you need to do all three. What I'm saying is pick one. Pick one that works for you, whether it's adding a glass of water, adding a serving of vegetables, adding some movement. Just pick one, stick with it till it becomes a habit. And then when it's a habit, add another small action. And that's how things last. That's how things get sustainable when we just slowly build it up. So keep those things in mind. And now I will pass it back on to Mackenzie.
Thank you. Isn't she awesome? Isn't you oh, I'm going to drink one glass of water right now. Okay. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was, what Emily just said is that we see a lot of noise or, society tells us what we should look like, tells us what healthy looks like, that we should be a certain size, we should look a certain way. That's what healthy is. And with working with a lot of my clients, when I let them find their own version of healthy, it looks nothing like what we've been told that healthy should be. That's not what they're striving to be, but they've never just questioned it for themselves. So getting your journal and your piece of paper back out, I just want you to write down, what does the healthiest version of you look like? Not even look like, what's the healthiest version of you? Along with that, what are you able to do and how do you feel? I will place these in the chat. All right. And the last question I'll add with that is, what's different from today? Give you about 30 more seconds. Okay. It's going to be challenging sometimes because some of those are so deeply ingrained in us because we've been taking them in since childhood. So I'd love to hear what came up for you on what's the healthiest version of you look like? What are you able to do? How do you feel?
One thing for me is that I want to be more, sorry, Amanda, more energized to work out instead of feeling like dreading it, instead of dreading, like I want to get to that. Everyone always talks about like a runner's high. I don't want to be a runner, but I want to like be excited to exercise and train my body that way.
Mhm. Love it. Yeah, find something you love that's not running, right? Amanda, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say energized. I want to feel healthy. I don't want to feel nauseous after I eat certain foods and then just feel really lazy. I just want to be more motivated, and I know that if I'm able to motivate myself to really choose myself and choose things that are going to be better for me with food and drinking more water and, being more active, it'll overall, help my mindset be even healthier. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Amanda. What else? Healthiest version of you. Speak it and it comes true. Give me the goods.
All right, I'll go. I feel like Mackenzie's like staring at me through the computer. I'm a teacher. I should be good at this silence, but I'm not. Okay, so mine followed in suit with what has already been said, but just being active, eating balanced meals, the 80-20 that we've talked about, and mentally healthy as well.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Jordan. Yeah, the 80-20 rule. Emily, do you want to just speak on that a little bit? Emily and I had a different event earlier this week where she talked on that, so I'll let her just speak to that for a sec.
Sure. I'm just stealing your pin for a second there. Yeah, so 80-20 is really what I preach to every person, no matter who you are. It's kind of the backbone of a sustainable, healthy diet. And what it means is that 80% of the time you make the healthy choices, which most of us know what the healthy choices are. It's, you're eating vegetables and fruits, and you're eating a lot of lean protein and whole grains, things like that. But knowing that there's 20% of the time where we don't have to follow exactly that. We don't have to eat perfectly. And that 20% is for desserts and pizza and beer and birthday cake and all of that fun stuff that makes life fun. Knowing that we can still have that, we just keep it to 20% of the time. right? And that helps us stick with the healthy eating 80% of the time, finding that balance throughout. So I could go on and on, but basically that's what 80-20 is all about.
Awesome. Thank you, Emily. Okay, so then the last question I put in there was, what's different from today? So we talked a lot about how you're feeling, that sort of thing. Is there anything else that's different from who you are today versus the healthiest version of yourself?
For me, it would be like increased confidence in when I do make a choice, whether it is to do the 80% healthy or the 20% less healthy, like having the confidence that like, okay, I'm still doing something that's good for me.
Mhm. Yeah, I love that. Thank you. Yeah, not that nagging voice telling you that you should be doing it different, right? Thank you. Some other shares in the chat. Ellen says, one who can find balance, eat whatever I want, portion control, moderation, not having to say no, restrict myself, feeling like I have freedom to choose versus being a prisoner of my diet. Yeah, thank you so much for your vulnerability in that share. I know a lot of us feel the same way too. And then, is it Renisha? Says not feeling fatigued all the time. Yeah, that energy is one that keeps coming up for everyone. So okay, beautiful. Our final question. We've talked a lot about, Emily and I really like the base is what everyone has told us healthy should be, what you need to do, that you have to restrict yourself, that you can't eat the ice cream that you want to eat, things like that. So being in this sort of environment where we're on Instagram or, we're surrounded by TVs and our friends are constantly talking about the next diet they're on, it's just kind of unavoidable that those messages keep getting thrown at us. And it's really easy to fall back into, oh yeah, like maybe I don't know what's best for me. Maybe I don't know what the healthiest option is for me. And then we fall back into it when that is being shared with us. So, write down, how can you keep yourself from turning back to that cycle and stay focused on your own journey? All right. Okay, so I know like a lot of these questions and that sort of thing, people don't find them valuable, but they really are, because they help you bring awareness to your own actions, and that's what will spark change for you. So having this awareness of yourself, next time this thing happens, you'll think of this moment, and then that's what's going to create the change. And that's why it's so important to dig into these sort of things. So does anyone feel comfortable sharing what they need to do to stay focused on their own journey?
I'll go. I feel like I have a good one for this.
Yay.
So recently in PD for teaching, we had learned slow is fast. Diets are all about like how quickly you can lose the weight. And that quote has just kind of stuck with me. Like, your journey isn't going to be fast. It's going to be slow. You're going to have to take baby steps. So remembering that slow is fast is important for me.
Love it, Jordan. Thank you for sharing. That's a good mantra. And Renisha, if I'm saying your name right, I hope I'm not butchering it, says, realizing that everyone comes in different shapes and sizes. I try to follow women with curves on Instagram, so I'm seeing a variety of body types. Yes, and also not comparing myself to others. Completely agree, making sure that our feeds, offer, pronouncing it right, offers a variety of different types of people, because we all do look different and we all are different. So healthy comes in all shapes and sizes. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else?
Ellen had something in the chat as well, right above Renisha.
Oh, I missed it. Accountability, someone or a group of people to keep me accountable for staying focused on a healthy lifestyle and balance. Yes, yes, yes. Ellen, you are just setting me up perfectly, aren't you? Yeah, because it is so hard, and we have to surround ourselves with people that are keeping us, focused on our own journey and viewing ourselves in a positive light and not looking down at us for doing, things wrong or, that sort of thing. So we want to share our opportunity with you for our group program. Emily and I, we never like to be like, this is, let us talk about us. But if you are interested in the things we've been talking about, this, and Jen will share her experience in a little bit too, but that's what it's for, is holding you accountable and staying focused on your own journey and not letting these things impact you and continue on with the cycle. We want to break the cycle and keep you living in a sustainable, healthy way for a life instead of continuing over and over again. So I'm going to have Emily bring up a slide. Yeah, and Ellen says, as much as I generally know what to do, it's hard to execute, stick with it on my own, but likely made easier with people to hold me accountable. Absolutely, absolutely. So here are the sorts of people that have benefited from our program, and those informational interviews that I talked about earlier. These are the main things that we saw that we created the program specifically for. So anyone who is having a hard time finding balance with health, so they feel like they have to do it this way or that way, or it has to look restrictive, just being able to find that balance that we've been talking about throughout this conversation. Struggling with emotional or stress eating, that is a big thing that we discuss in the program. Having an all or nothing mindset, so I have to either be completely healthy and not do, have one bad thing, or, they just throw it out the window. Lacking consistent motivation is something that I've heard throughout this conversation of, I don't feel like exercising, or, that sort of thing. Having this sort of accountability keeps you motivated. Progress gives you motivation is something I say a lot. So knowing that you've committed to these things and you're following through with it is what brings you motivation. And then, like Emily said earlier, just not knowing where to start. There's so much information out there. Like, what do I even focus on? That's what this program is for. So these are some of the things that's included. It's a super lot, so I'm not even gonna share all of it because it's a lot. But the first step is a clarity call with both Emily and I. So we're both coaching you. With me, you are focused on your mindset. With Emily, you're focused on your nutrition. And we're coming up with daily actions that are focused on your own health journey that you can follow through with every single day to take you on the path to where you want to be. It's something you complete the first month, it becomes a habit, and then you reassess, and we do the second month separately. So it's a mindset and nutrition to keep you on track with where you want to be. We have weekly group calls. They're actually going to be 45 minutes this time around, where we are holding each other accountable. And then Emily and I alternate weekly on either a mindset lesson or a nutrition lesson. And then that feeds into our Facebook group, where we have our daily accountability check-ins, which are what you came up with in your clarity call. So Jordan's goal is going to be completely different than Amanda's goal, because they are different people and they need different things and they're struggling with different things. That's really, we wanted to personalize this group experience in that way. We have reflection worksheets to make sure, like some of the questions that I asked today, to create awareness for you. Weekly challenges based on our lessons that we post about in our Facebook group. And then at the end, we have an after party where we celebrate all our successes. And in every single group coaching program, we just have so much love for each other, and we're just like a team by the end. So celebrating with each other. And then And then you get another session with Emily and I at the end to set you up for moving forward and staying on track with the person you've become.
All right, just had to replace my pin there. Okay, so it's an awesome group. It's been so amazing facilitating this with Mackenzie. And now we get to talk about all the fun numbers that I know everyone is curious about. So we're capping the group off at 10. So we're looking for 10 people who want to change their outlook on health, for life, everything we've just talked about. Today was really kind of a peek into what our weekly group sessions are like. They're much more focused, but also it's a lot of conversation. It's a lot of personalization. It's a lot of learning. So we wanted to say, as a thank you for you all being here today, we're opening this up to you. So if this is something that you're interested in, you want to be put on the list, just private message us with your email and we'll reach out to you with first steps. So we did just want to open this up to you. Make sure that if this is something that you really think you could benefit from, get your name on the list. It'll be a temporary hold. Our group is going to start the week of September 13th. So you have about a month until it starts, but yeah, it's gonna come up here soon. And the total investment, so if you wanna do the group, what Mackenzie was talking about, the 8 sessions in the 2 months, the one-on-one at the beginning and at the end, those are both hour-long sessions. So the investment for that program is $10.99. But then if you are really interested in getting some more one-on-one personalization with this, we do have an add-on where you can add on 4 additional hour-long coaching sessions, 2 with Mackenzie for mindset and 2 with me for nutrition to really get it personalized. And that investment is $16.99. So we're letting you know all of this now because messaging us with your email will get you temporarily on the list. But as soon as you pay a 50% deposit, you're in. So we really want to make sure that everyone who is interested gets an opportunity to let us know. And then once your deposit's in, so either $550 for just the group or $850 if you're interested in the additional coaching sessions, then you'll be in. And as soon as we get to 10, we're closing it down until our next session, which probably won't be until spring. And as another thank you for you all being here, whoever gets their deposit in before this upcoming Sunday gets an additional one-on-one coaching session. So I know it's going to be a month until we're starting the actual group, but if you are really all in, you're like, yes, I want this, get your deposit in before Sunday and you'll be able to start anytime between now and September 13th with the one-on-one session. Be a really great time to get some clarity, to get some movement for the before the group even starts. So yeah, please do private message us with your email. We'll send you all the information you need, how to make the payment, and we'll hold a spot for you. I also wanted to say if you're interested but have some questions, send us your email anyway. We'll be sure to answer all of your questions, but we want to make sure that the people who are interested do get on the list before it fills up. And then one last thing, we know it can be overwhelming to commit to a group and to commit to change. And as you've seen throughout this webinar, Mackenzie and I are all about slow, sustainable change, and we're not about completely changing your life starting tomorrow and forcing you to make all these changes and doing everything at once. If you feel like this group could be just what you need, we'd love to have you. It really is such a powerful experience. And to just highlight that, we've asked Jen, who was in our last group, to just talk a little bit about her experience with the group. So I'm going to stop sharing and pin Jen so you can hear from her and stop hearing from us for a little bit. All right. Go ahead, Jen.
Okay, so I was given a few questions to answer to try to clarify from a perspective of somebody that actually did the group. So I just did this one on this last spring, the spring session that was I think April to June or end of May, I should say. And then we had our after party in June. But either way, so the first question that was asked to me is, what did I gain from the program? So things that I gained, good mindset. It's an important base for the healthy weight loss. I think that was actually shared and said here tonight. But either way, the healthy mindset is really what I found was probably the most important part to really have a healthy long-term journey with your health. Another one was how to rebuild and rewrite a narrative that plays in my subconscious of the person that I want to be and who I am planning to and wanting to become. That was a really big thing for me as well, and helped me with my continuing on this journey of becoming a better and healthier version of myself. And the other things that I really learned and took away from this is it takes 20 minutes to know if your body is actually full. One of the things I think Emily had shared when in our, one of our weekly lessons, many nutrition tools as well, knowing the difference between higher and lesser impact actions, emotional eating triggers, how to create awareness and change, the zone, that's the hunger fullness scale, how to build a healthy day of meals, and that's going into the 80-20 rule. So those are just a little bit of the highlights that you could potentially learn in this group. And then really what has changed for me for this and because of the program. So before the program, I believed I was being healthy because I was moving my body, but really wasn't paying attention to what I was actually putting into my body. So knowing and being mindful of what is actually fueling my body and is good for my body, and knowing the difference from when I have something that makes me feel kind of weird, a little sluggish, a little tired, those kind of things, I'm more aware of and mindful of now. I've also learned and challenged myself to do new and hard things. One of the big things is just getting on a new machine at the gym, because going to the gym, it's so intimidating, and you see all these people like lifting ridiculous amounts of weight and actually having the courage to, be like, you know what, let me just see what this is all about and try it, and actually doing it. And then it just keeps you motivated and keeps you wanting to try something new, and you're not necessarily as afraid to do that. Another thing is during this challenge, I had a curveball. My boyfriend came home and had symptoms of COVID, tested positive for COVID. So I had to literally stay within my house, and luckily I did not get COVID. However, I had to manage and work through that during this challenge. I know that's not something that you all hopefully will go through. However, if you do choose to do this, knowing and having the support and the accountability that will help you get through that, something like that as well. Other results I've seen from this is being knowing, and now I'm incorporating protein in every meal I have, whether it's a snack or just in general, my lunch, big meals that I'm having. I always have some form of protein with a snack. I'm tracking my food, I'm meal planning, I'm prepping, I'm making better choices. I'm, grocery shopping and making sure I have easily accessible snacks. So I'm not going into the pantry and eating my Cheeto Puffs that I love, or like a full bag of candy. I know I could still have some of that candy, and I will have it. It's just, I don't need to sit down and have a whole bag of Sour Patch watermelons, because those are my favorite. Just little things like that. A big thing too is they did mantra, like if you follow Mackenzie, the Mantra Mondays, but we do a weekly mantra. And honestly, still to this day, I do a daily mantra that is something that I try to strive to be and do every day, or just having, and I still literally have Post-it notes from our class all over my desk here, because I work from home, on my computer. And it's just a reminder that this is building me. This is continue going on that path, one step and after another, and to not, to keep going, even if you feel like you kind of went sideways for a little bit, and you just having that quick bounce back with it. So with that being said, I know the girls had already gone over who they recommend the program for, but literally anyone and everyone who is struggling with their relationship with food, their health, someone who has tried every kind of diet and has not been able to find one that's sustainable for them. I really don't think there is anyone that this program is not going to benefit something from. So I highly recommend it. And I hope that if you have any questions, I honestly feel free to ask me too yourself. Like, I'm completely open. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, all the things. But it's definitely something that is a game changer, and literally they will blow up the dieting world and everything you thought you believed and knew, and you have no idea. So that's my spiel, and you should sign up today. No.
She's not a paid actress, guys. We should have
No.
like
I don't
legend.
benefit from this any way or shape or form.
Oh,
So,
you're so
either way.
sweet. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. That was wonderful. So heartfelt. I miss seeing you every week. Great. Okay, I know Mackenzie's pinned, but I'm just going to say something really quick. So we are going to use, we just have a few minutes left. We're going to see if anyone has any questions. You can type them in the chat. You can raise your hand and ask them. But after the questions, we do have one more thing we want to do with everyone. So don't sign off if you don't have any questions. But yeah, please do ask any questions right now. We'll try to answer whatever we can. And I also just wanted to reiterate, please do private message us through Zoom, your email, if you want to be added to the list, and we'll be sure to reach out to you.
And questions about anything, it doesn't have to be about the program. So
yeah,
hit us with your best shot.
All right, Renisha asked, what's your favorite part of the program?
Ours or Jen's? We can all share.
We can all share.
My favorite part is just, I mean, seeing the people get there, you know, where they come in and they really don't believe that it's possible for them. And then to hear Jen just, you know, I hadn't heard what Jen wrote, but then every time they can reflect that back to us and it's coming truly from them in their heart, like, holy crap, they're capable. And Emily and I always know that, but watching them figure that out for themselves is just amazing. So that's my favorite part.
Yeah. My favorite part is probably just that feeling of camaraderie that we get from this group, because yes, we see each other every week for 8 weeks, but there's also like on the Facebook every single day, we're always filling each other in on what's going on with our goals. But I would say my favorite part is probably getting to know each person individually and making this whole journey as personalized as possible. And that's why I'm so glad we do those one-on-one hour coaching sessions as well at the beginning and end. Because nutrition is personalized. Every person lives a different life and has different goals. And so I love that even though it's a group program, we're able to make it personalized as well. So you get the best of both worlds there.
Jen, do you want to share your favorite part of the program?
Sure. Yeah, my favorite part would definitely be the support that you have with everybody in the group, not just the coaches, but the other women that you're doing this with. You really build just these relationships that you know you're not the only one that is struggling with these, and they're all like, yes, oh my gosh, me too. And you're like, oh, thank you, like you're not the only one. So just you feel connected and supported in all aspects, and if there's any struggles you have there, you know everybody's there to answer questions at all times and within the Facebook group, and just really cheering each other on to be becoming the best versions that you guys can become of yourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we're at time. I'm gonna wrap it up, and then if you guys can stay on if you have other questions too. So I love being able to like have people walk away with things from our conversation. So the first thing, if you were here on Tuesday for our conversation, sorry you have to do it twice, but what's something that you can commit to today to like to walk away with from this conversation? What's something that you can commit to? You can either write it down or type it in the chat. Something you can commit to. Love it. Taking a walk after this, yes. Stop putting so much pressure on myself from what I see online. Yes, 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 yes. Not going to McDonald's and getting chocolate chip cookies. But girl, if you want those chocolate chip cookies, you should have those chocolate chip cookies. But awesome. Wonderful.
20%.
All right. And then lastly, type in the chat what you feel like you're walking away with from today's conversation. This will be the bow on today's conversation. What are you walking away with? Could be one word of how you're feeling, an insight you gathered. Jordan says clarity. Love it. Oh, Annalise, hope and excitement for change. Absolutely. Community and accountability is our keys to success. Absolutely, Ellen. Yeah, it's not hard. It's just committing to myself. Yeah, keeping your promises to yourselves. You're worth it. Absolutely. Just said absolutely many times, but it's true. Okay, guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for those of you that were willing to share and open up. I appreciate you. Emily and I really, whether you do the group or not, we really want you to take what you gathered from this conversation and move forward and not let this outside noise keep you back from the person that we know you can be. So we are going to stay on a little bit longer in case anyone has questions, but if you do not, then we will see you later. Thank you so much. And don't be afraid to reach out to either of us.
Yes, I'm going to put our emails in the chat right now. Thank you to everyone who sent us their emails, private message us, but if you need some time to think, there are our emails. You're more than welcome to email us, but if you keep in mind to get the deposit in before Sunday, you get that free coaching session. So thank you all so much for being here. It's always a pleasure connecting as a group, and thank you for your questions. It was great seeing you all.
Bye, guys. Have a good night.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Amanda. Sorry.
Oh, Jenny, you can go first.
No, all I was gonna say was, can I join the group again?
Please do. We miss you.